Hello, everybody. How are we? Excited to be here. Excited to be having lunch. Thank you for having me again. This is my third year here. Greetings and welcome to the 13th annual induction ceremony for the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame. My name is Melissa Millay. As IJ told you, I do anchor News for Today. I do the traffic in the morning. If anybody's up that early, I'm sorry, but we do try to help. Native Washingtonian, yes. Went to Gaithersburg High School, graduated from there a couple of years ago. I was going to bring my readers up here. You'd really know how old I am. I forgot them, again, because of how old I am, but I'll get them there in a second. And a proud resident of Montgomery County. I am excited to be back for this third year. Also come from a family of small business owners. Growing up, my dad always had some kind of a business, and he still does, so I get it, and thank you guys for what you do for our community. I'm going to start with just a little bit of brief housekeeping. Just like years past, there's no break in the program. We invite you to enjoy your meal. You're not being rude if you're eating throughout. We have a lot of stuff to get through, so that is completely fine. And before we get started, if you can silence your cell phones for the duration of the ceremony, that would be wonderful. Thank you, thank you. Now, it was 14 years ago that the Grossberg Company hired banker, H.L. Ward, established the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame. From the start, the Hall of Fame was envisioned as a way to honor businessmen and women who have both enriched the corporate climate of Montgomery County and enhanced the county's quality of life. Over the years, 55 individuals have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Many of them, along with a number of other VIPs, are here with us this afternoon. And of course, I always see, like my 7th grade math teacher and my old principal and lots of people I know from the community. So thanks for being here today. I would like you to please welcome Councilmember Marilyn Balcom, Councilmember Lorianne Sales, Councilmember Evan Glass, Delegate Leslie Lopez, Delegate Lily Chee, Mayor Judd Ashman, Councilmember Gabe Albernaz, Delegate Greg Wims, Delegate Gabe Acevero, Councilmember Kate Stewart, Councilmember Will Jawando, Councilmember Andrew Friedson, Councilmember Natalie Fanny Gonzalez, who, by the way, was in the dunk tank. Where are you? Is she here right now? Was in the dunk tank at Lone Oak on Saturday. That's my family's business, and I paid $50 to get her out for the Montgomery County Police Foundation donation, right? Yes, she liked me a lot on Saturday. Mayor Jeffrey Slavin, Delegate Pam Queen, Senator Brian Feldman, Senator Cheryl Kagan, and Board of Education member Julie Yang. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Today, we honor our newest members of the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame. They come from diverse backgrounds, but each represents, in his or her own way, the determination, dedication, and entrepreneurial spirit that makes success possible. Each will be honored with a plaque displayed here at the universities at Shady Grove and at the Montgomery County Conference Center. In addition to honoring those accomplished men and women, proceeds from this afternoon's event support scholarship programs here at USG. Now, let me introduce the individuals behind the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame. Steve Silverman is the chair of the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame and is founder and CEO of SS Government Relations. Steve's commitment to the hall and to this annual induction ceremony has helped to establish both as fixtures on the Montgomery County landscape. Michael Walsh has been with the Grossberg Company for more than 20 years, becoming a partner in 2012. For more than 100 years, his company has offered the highest quality tax and accounting services to its clients and community. The company has grown as the county has grown and thrived. Eagle Bank recently became the newest presenting sponsor of the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame. Headquartered in Bethesda, Eagle Bank is the go-to bank for personal and commercial banking needs in Montgomery County. Joining us today from Eagle Bank is Peter Tadros, Senior Vice President and Head of Retail and Small Business Banking. So again, I would like to take this chance to thank all of our sponsors, each of whom is going to be scrolling through the screens this morning. This event, it just can't take place without your support, and it means so much. When I started doing this a couple of years ago, I am from Montgomery County, as I said, and I had no idea the amazing things and the wonderful people that come out of this place. So it really has been eye-opening for me. Thank you all for what you do to make it possible. All right, now please join me in welcoming Steve Silverman.
Forgot my list. I really have to. Can somebody grab a list that I think I dropped on the table? Thanks. No, it's a list of people I need to thank. That's very important. Anyway, no teleprompter here, so I found it. Here we go. All right, I usually start these things as unaccustomed as I am to public speaking. Thanks very much. I'm going to find this. There's a script somewhere in here. Okay, sorry for the delay here. Here we go. All right. I know it's in here somewhere. Well, okay. Apparently I'm doing it extemporaneously, which is fine. Listen, thanks everybody for coming out. This is always a wonderful event. It's always very packed. In fact, it's a little oversubscribed, I think, which is great, but we don't kick anybody out. And it's an extraordinary event because the net proceeds of this event go to unrestricted scholarship monies to USG, and that's very important. So let's hear it for that. It's 20-something years ago when I was on the county council, there was a big push for a four-year university. That was the push. We got to have a four-year university. And through an endless series of negotiations and conversations with folks, the idea of a 2+2 came about, which has been an extraordinary success thanks to the leadership of folks in our community, particularly my good friend Ike Leggett, and we're very grateful that this has become the success that it is. I just want to take a couple minutes to thank some folks. It's kind of a little bit of a list, but I'll go through quickly. Besides everybody on the committee who's done an extraordinary job in helping to reach out and raise money and identify potential awardees, the folks at USG have been extraordinarily helpful and really are the drivers of the event today. So I want to give a quick shout out to Cheryl Green, Dave Buonara, Kate Dawson, Odalis Garcia Velez, Elizabeth Morales, Deb Zimmer, Rebecca Taravella, Rhonda Keys, Melissa Marquez, Chad Moore, Christy Christian, Kelly Lay, Rebecca Basu, Jeff Kenton, Joyce Furman, and a special thanks to Mary Lang for making it happen, and the indefatigable Tom Clifford. A round of applause to the USG folks. Also, in addition to thanking all the sponsors, I want to thank our sponsor, Bethesda Magazine, for an extraordinary continued support through advertising. We're very grateful that Bethesda Magazine continues to be an extraordinary member of our community. Finally, on a personal note, you know, we're here and we're going to honor posthumously Jack Fitzgerald, who's been a dear friend and community and business leader for many years. But we had a passing this few days ago of someone in the real estate community who was a member of the Board of Advisors here, but also was an extraordinary community leader, charitable, he and his wife Linda. And just want to let everybody know that we lost Bob Youngentaub from EYA, who's been not only an extraordinary member of the real estate community, but also the philanthropic community. So please say a prayer for him. Anyway, thank you very much, and we will move on to the rest of the program.
See, I brought my list, so I know who's coming next. So that's good news. So, hello, everyone. I'm Michael Walsh. Again, on behalf of Grossberg, we're once again proud and excited to be part of the Hall of Fame event. We're now in our 101st year. I've started calling it Grossberg 101. it seems appropriate, especially now that we're on a college campus, introduction class to accounting. And as part of our staff training, I always have to do a back to the basics type training. And one story I always include is from one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time, John Wooden. He famously starts every season by teaching his players how to properly put on their socks. Sounds a little ridiculous, but then he did win 10 national championships. And his point, master the basics, and the rest will follow. So that's very important. Now, I do like to introduce the table from Grossberg. We have a whole table full of professional young CPAs, auditors, tax experts, and I absolutely know for a fact that they know how to put on their socks. No blisters or anything like that. Actually, one important thing that I really wanted to talk about was related to, in the past, there was a tax law change that saw a big shift. The percentage of people that itemized deductions dropped from about 1/3 to 10%. The reason, that SALT tax deduction. And a result of that also was a noticeable dip in charitable giving. Now, here's the good news. If you haven't heard, that tax deduction has increased exponentially, which means more people will benefit from itemizing again. Now, makes this the perfect time to be generous because your charitable donations might have a bigger impact now. So why wait? Think of this as your preseason to tax planning. Give now, feel good, and maybe even get a deduction. So I actually brought this up. If you can see, there's a little QR code. Please, take a look at that. You can donate right now. I'll wait. No, I'm just kidding. Well, again, thank you for everybody for your donations already. And with that, I'm excited to introduce our new co-sponsor this year, Eagle Bank, and representing them is Peter Tadros. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Good morning. My name is Peter Tadros. I'm the head of retail and business banking at Eagle Bank. I want to start off by thanking you all for being here to support the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame and their important mission of funding scholarships, programs benefiting the universities of Shady Grove. Developing the career pipeline in Montgomery County is one of the most important things that we can do today to secure our future. And our presence here demonstrates our commitment to do just that. During times like these, the groundwork that we lay now will impact us for decades to come. It makes me feel hopeful and optimistic today to see everyone here supporting the students. So thank you on behalf of Eagle Bank. These students are our future. They will live, work, and raise their families here. Just like us, they've been here because they're invested in Montgomery County and they want to see it remain a desirable place to grow their business. At Eagle Bank, this mission is deeply important for us on a personal reason. We are the largest bank headquartered in Maryland, and we uniquely understand the challenges and opportunities that exist within the region. We always say at Eagle Bank that relationships come first. We live and breathe that every single day, prioritizing relationships of our customers, our teams, and of course our communities. Adjacent to the nation's capital, we're a thriving hub for businesses. And that's part of what we focus on in Montgomery County to help grow our local business community. To all the students here, I want to thank you for the time and energy that you put in yourselves in leading in Montgomery County into the future. We're so excited to see where you take us next. So on behalf of Eagle Bank, thank you. And I believe I'm introducing Dr. Jason Wingard.
If you want to introduce him, you can. I have the whole script. No? He needs a little fanfare before we get him up here. Steve, Michael, Peter, thank you so much for your comments. He's right. The doctor is up next. It is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote presentation. We're doing something a little bit different this year, so if you've been here in years past, you'll notice the change probably mostly with the two chairs that are up here right now. So rather than a single keynote address, we'll have two speakers who will engage in a back and forth conversation that promises to be interesting and enlightening. Dr. Jason Wingard is founder, chairman of the board, and president of the Potomac Community Foundation, which officially launched as a new nonprofit organization this past summer. The Potomac Community Foundation is dedicated to educational efforts, workforce development, and legacy preservation. It is enhancing opportunities in historically underserved Black communities in Montgomery County while keeping their history intact. Dr. Wingard relocated to Potomac in 2024 with an impressive career in academia and the private sector. He was the 12th president of Temple University, served in executive leadership roles at Columbia University, the University of Pennsylvania, and Stanford University. I think we've probably heard of those, and worked in corporate development at Goldman Sachs. A prolific author and renowned expert on the future of work and talent development, Dr. Wingard is ideally suited to lead the important and timely work of the foundation. Joining Dr. Wingard is our host this afternoon, Dr. Ann Kademian, Executive Director of the Universities at Shady Grove. Dr. Kademian is also Associate Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and the University System of Maryland, and she holds leadership positions on the boards of the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce and Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation. Dr. Kademian's a highly regarded scholar, political scientist, and author. She taught at some of the country's most prestigious universities when she was named USG's executive director in October of 2020. In the 5 years since, she has partnered with faculty and program directors from the 9 universities represented on USG's campus and with industry leaders and employers from across the region to ensure that skills taught to USG students are the skills that employers need. She led the creation of USG's first ever strategic plan, and with her team spearheaded key initiatives, including launching an innovative industry hub model linking education to workforce demand, expanding programs that expose youth to college pathways and inspire pursuit to 4-year degrees, and strengthening USG's Ready Institute, which delivers unique data-driven insights on regional graduate career outcomes. She has secured grants, gifts, and federal funding to turn this vision into reality. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Jason Wingard and Dr. Ann Kademian.
Okay. Well, we just had a really lovely introduction, but I just want to set the stage a little bit. First, I want to say welcome to everyone, and what an honor it is to have you all here today. The beautiful universities at Shady Grove, where partnerships power education and students thrive academically and professionally. And this wonderful gathering, this Hall of Fame event, has a lot to do with how we do that as well. So I am just absolutely delighted and honored to have Dr. Jason Wingard here with us today, an acclaimed and globally recognized scholar and leader. You heard the introduction. His visionary leadership spans corporate boardrooms, higher education institutions, and social and community impact as well. As you heard, he's now leading an exciting new foundation here in Montgomery County as well. He is the author of several groundbreaking books, including The College Devaluation Crisis, The Great Skills Gap, both of which are directly relevant to the conversation we're going to have today. And he's, where some of you may have seen him most recently, he is the senior contributor to Forbes, where he writes on leadership and the future of work and learning, and where he recently called out the universities at Shady Grove in one of the articles as well, a highly cited and downloaded and read article as well. So I'm sure it has everything to do with the universities at Shady Grove being in the article, right? So that's great. So in one of the Forbes articles, Jason, may I call you Jason?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
In one of the Forbes articles, you ask, what happens when the most powerful companies become the largest educators too? Well, let's find out. Welcome. It's great to have you here.
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here, and thank you and the team and the committee for inviting me. Thank you all for being here today. It's wonderful to celebrate all the inductees. If you don't mind, Ann, for a second, you asked a really good question about employers and their role, but I don't know if the whole audience here is up to speed on this particular topic. So just, can you give me 5 minutes? Okay, so I'm actually teaching at Harvard right now, and those of you who know about Harvard know we do the case method, right? And so I want to do a little mini case with you all just to set the ground for what we're going to be talking about today. So what I'll do is, Kevin Beverly, everybody knows Kevin. Kevin, for today, Kevin is going to be the chairman of Google, okay? And then let's see, on this side, oh, Craig Rupert, being inducted today, my new friend. Craig, you are going to be the chairman of Amazon, okay? Don't worry, you don't have to say anything. All right. So, can anybody answer for me the #1 boardroom topic in Fortune 100 companies right now? Money, AI. Who said workforce? Who said labor? Workforce and labor. Talent is the #1 topic facing Fortune 100 companies right now. If you go into any boardroom, when they bang the gavel and they do the board meeting, the first thing they're talking about is what people do we have, what people do we need to get, and how do we train them. That's #1. AI, logistics, manufacturing, sales, it all depends on people, and everything is changing so fast right now. If you don't have the best people, even if you have AI, if you don't have the best people, you're losing, and it's unlike any time ever in history. Okay, so here's our case. We all are investors, shareholders in a hedge fund. We want to invest a couple of $1 billion in one of these two companies, Google or Amazon. So if you've been in business school in the last 2 years, you already know what's going to happen. But most of you probably haven't, so you don't know the answer, all right? So Google, Amazon, we are a hedge fund conglomerate that is going to invest billions of dollars in one of these two companies. We're going to base our decision on the answer to their talent strategy. What are they doing with their people, okay? So Kevin, the chairman of the board here at Google, has said, and the board has said, and they've given the mandate to management, what we're going to do is we're going to fire half of our employees. 10,000 workers, we're going to fire them. What are we going to do to get work done? We're going to go out to what's called the gig economy. We're going to go get contractors who are talented in a variety of different areas, and we're going to bring them in as needed to do our work. So we're going to have half the workforce of full-time people we used to have, and we're going to just get contractors to do our work. Everybody understand that? Okay. On the other side, what is Amazon doing? Are they going to fire half of their people? No. They are doubling down, Craig says, on keeping all of their people. They're going to invest money in training and retraining those existing people to be able to keep pace with the business as it changes, all right? So I need somebody, one of our shareholders in the hedge fund company, which one is the better investment? Is it better that Google is getting rid of their people and they're hiring the best talent on the street? Or is it better for Amazon to keep their people whole and to train them and reskill them? Which one's better? Some of you are saying training. What do I hear? What's your name? Scott, what do you say? You're going to go with
Best talent, best talent. Find the best talent.
Find the best talent whenever you can find it. All right? Anybody have an opposing view? Allie.
Oh, I was going to say Google because Amazon didn't come to Montgomery County.
Oh. It's not about making money. We just hold grudges, right? What would you say, man? Who do you vote for?
Amazon.
What's that?
Amazon, despite the fact that they didn't come here.
Okay, despite the fact. So we have two issues. One is Google, who is hiring the best talent on the street. The other one is Amazon, who is retraining their people. The answer, we don't know yet, but you all should continue to watch the news. So far, Amazon is winning. So far, it is a better investment to skill your people, the ones that are coming in, that's called upskill, and then reskill the people who are already in the field. You build culture, you have dedicated history with your people. That seems to be working, but we don't know yet. The jury's still out. I wanted to talk about that with you to set the context for what we're talking about today, because the major question is not What is the number one topic that is on the boardrooms of corporations? We already know the answer to that. It's talent. The second question is, whose responsibility is it to make sure that that talent is what it needs to be so that businesses can thrive? Whose responsibility is it for all the people who are in the workforce to be ready to go? That's what we're going to talk about today. I just wanted to give you, thank you very much for that context.
All right, that was great.
Okay, Ann, now I'm ready. Now I'm
That
ready.
was fantastic. All right, so talk to us about that, right? But first of all, tell us what the crisis is. Why are we looking to employers to solve this problem? What is the crisis that we're facing right now with talent?
So if you look back in history, originally it was universities. Universities for the last 60, 70 years, and I wrote about this in the college devaluation crisis. If you wanted to get good, skilled opportunities, you would go to school. You would go to you go to high school, you go to community college, you go to the university, and you would learn, and that was the answer to the skilled workforce having what it needs. The government also would subsidize that education. So we created public schools where everybody could go to good K-12 schools, trade schools, vocational schools, community colleges, and universities, lots of federal money going. So that partnership between the government at the federal level and the state level and all the educational institutions provided a world-renowned, unmatched, unparalleled workforce here in the United States because we were training our people. The problem is twofold. Number one, the federal government and that state government started to spend less money on all of those educational institutions, not subsidize as much. Number two, the pace at which jobs are changing and how you have to refresh your skills started to get closer and closer. So it used to be you could go get a job in 1968, 1969 at IBM, and you could do pretty much the same job with the skill you had coming in for 20 years. You get your golden watch and you retire, and that's enough. Now you go work at IBM, your skill set's probably going to last you 3 quarters, right? And then you're going to have to know something new, and then you have to learn something new. And so if you went to college now and you go work at IBM, and your job has changed to the point where you need new skills 3 quarters in, how are you going to get those skills? Is it IBM's responsibility? Is it the government's? Is it higher ed? So the answer to your question is we used to have a really good education system that was well funded by government and by nonprofits when we could train people very slowly and that knowledge would last a long time. Now we don't have the funding, and now the shelf life of knowledge for skills is really, really, really small, and so people have to get trained very rapidly, and whose responsibility is that, again, is the question, and nobody has stepped up yet.
Right. You know, I was at a talent development conversation in Virginia a couple of weeks ago, and Deloitte was at the table, and Northrop Grumman was at the table, a number of healthcare providers were at the table, and it was clear from that conversation that employers aren't waiting around for academia to figure this out, that they are moving, just like Google and just like Amazon, right? So talk to us a little bit. You said, who's responsible for this? Employers aren't going to wait around. They're stepping up. So who is responsible? Should academia be making the moves and doing this, or should we be partnering with employers in a different way to do this? What's the answer here? How do we move forward in this?
So let's go back to our mini case study. Google would say that the responsibility is the employees themselves. They're hiring from the gig economy. They're going out and plucking contractors wherever they are and saying, come work on this project for us right now with your skill set. And when we're done with you and that skill is no longer needed, we'll get rid of you and we'll bring somebody else back. So for companies like Google, they are saying that it is the labor market's responsibility. You can go to school, you can not go to school. You can take a training program or course, you can not. We don't care how you do it. It's your responsibility, and if you get it and we need it, we will pay you. Amazon is saying it is our responsibility. It is our corporation's responsibility. You come to us, you're part of our family. We are going to invest in you. We're going to train you for your job today. We're going to future-proof your skills so that you're prepared to do the job of tomorrow. And you're going to be loyal to us. We're going to be loyal to you. And our investment is going to pay dividends in ROI. So 2 very different methods. Now, what's missing in that conversation, right? What is missing? I just said that Google said that the employees, it's their responsibility, the labor force. Amazon said it's their responsibility, the corporation. Who's missing in the conversation? The public sector, the universities specifically, right? It used to be, as I said before, vocational school, community colleges, four-year universities, that's where you went. If you came to this country from another country and you wanted to get the American dream, everybody would say to you, you need to go to school. You need to learn a trade, a skill, get a degree, a diploma, because that's the pathway to the dream. Universities are still providing education, but it's the way they used to do it 10, 20, 30, 50, 60 years ago. They're not changing for the current times, right? So one of my books is called The Great Skills Gap. There's a gap, right? The labor force right now, and all of you business owners now know in this room, we need certain skills to be able to get the work done. And it's different than it used to be, and it's changing very rapidly, as I said, every 3 quarters. What are universities doing in response to that? Are they changing the curriculum? Are they asking employers what they need? Are they preparing the workforce in a very rapid, dynamic way? No, universities are still training people the way we did in 1970, right? So that's not working. So the universities are doubling down and saying, we do what we do, the market is not going to tell us how to change our curriculum and how to teach. So for the most part, we universities are locked, and the employers are saying, well, we need something different, and you're locked, so we have a big widening gap that's happening. Who's plugging that gap? Employees themselves are trying to get trained, but where do they go, right? The nonprofits and the others in the NGOs are trying to figure out where they can put their money to help, but it's a big swampland of nothingness. So, and to your question, the employers are saying, by and large, we've got to figure out either doing it ourselves or buying from those educational providers that are doing it right. So that's why the work that you all are doing here at the University of Shady Grove actually answers that call. When you look around at the higher education landscape, most aren't doing it the right way. Here, it's being done the right way. There's a lot of opportunity for first-generation students or students who want to get real work apprenticeships and those kinds of things to be able to get that while they're in school so that they're ready to go to work, right? But not everybody's doing that, and that's why I wrote about you all in my last Forbes article, because there are very few that are actually doing it, but it's being done here.
Well, we're trying to do it here.
Yes.
So yeah, all right. That's great. So we've approached this here at Shady Grove in the sense that academic institutions have a responsibility. We've got to grow, we've got to do this, but we have to do it in partnership.
Yeah.
And so trying to figure out what that partnership looks like, right? So here at Shady Grove, we have 9 incredible university partners who offer 80 different degree programs here. And we at Shady Grove focus not only on supporting them in that delivery, but we focus on career readiness and career competencies, and we focus on experiential learning, and we focus on giving students the wraparound support that they need. So we've approached this as a way to say, let's enrich that experience for students while they're here so they're career ready, but also let's deepen the partnership in how we work with employers. Talk to us a little about what kinds of partnerships you might be seeing out there between, there's this gap, there's this growing gap. But are there examples that stand out for you about, in addition to Shady Grove, right? Are there examples that stand out to you for academic institutions and employers who are doing this right, who are figuring out how to work together, or who are moving the needle on this somehow?
Yeah, so there are fortunately a lot of good examples. So I told you, I used to be the chief learning officer at Goldman Sachs, which meant I was responsible, along with the CEO, for making sure that 33,000 employees came into the firm, got trained, and continued to get trained, and we used a lot of different partners to be able to do that. So from the bottom up, I ran Goldman Sachs University. It was called Goldman Sachs University. And so what we would do there, and they are continuing to do, is to partner with educational providers, training providers and degree providers, to be able to get those populations ready before they came to Goldman. Now think about this. If you're a company like Goldman Sachs, and you're investing and partnering with a school that's a K-8, and you're hoping that that investment is going to pay off because those K-8 students are going to come work at Goldman Sachs 20 years from now, that's revolutionary. You know, most businesses, and most of you in this room, you know, you really are quarter by quarter, you know, fiscal year by fiscal year. So when you are trying to win in the global marketplace, that's one example I can give you of going into the K-12 educational system in the United States, in Asia, in Europe, in Africa, investing in those schools and building relationships so that as they go through their training, whether it stops at high school or continues through college, and then hiring people, and the loyalty that comes from that, the satisfaction from the investment, and the hands that Goldman can put on the curriculum early on to make sure that they're not only being trained for Goldman Sachs, because most of them don't come work for Goldman Sachs, they go other places. That really is a contribution that pays dividends. Even if they only get a couple of those students, it actually pays for having served all the others. I'll give you another example. So when I was dean of graduate school at Columbia University, I had a lot of master's degrees, 17 different master's degrees: data science, bioethics, technology management, enterprise risk management. We also ran the high school program for the university. Students would come from all over the world in the summer and take classes as part of the high school program. When I went up every year at graduation and had the opportunity to talk about where most of our students were getting employed, I would say the high school program. So Google, we just saw, Kevin, your firm, they are going out into the marketplace and hiring. They're going to Columbia University as their #1 source and getting students from the high school program. And these students are paying $15,000 a summer to come do the Columbia High School program. So their parents have means, they have a lot of education, they have a lot of knowledge. Google knows that the #1 time to get the best talent and the best productivity out of workers is between the ages of 18 and 25. So they said, we're going to go to a high school program, we're going to recruit your students, we're going to have you come and work for us. We will guarantee for you and your parents, we will pay for your education. Wherever you get in, wherever you want to go, just delay it. You know, if you really think that that's something you need, then delay it. But come work for us now, lend your skills, we'll train you on the job, and then you can go do what you want later. Nobody goes back to college. Everybody continues to work at Google or they go to another tech company. So that's two very different examples, personal to me, where you have to think very boldly right now if you want to be a business and you want to remain competitive in this very dynamically changing environment, and most are not doing it.
It's very bold, it's very innovative. It's also big picture ecosystem thinking. It's thinking about all the dots and how they all connect and come together. I want to pose one more question to you as we wrap up our conversation. I was at Virginia Tech for 17 years before coming here. And one of my jobs there, I was the director of the School of Public and International Affairs. And when I first became the director, I was very excited about this school becoming ranked and really getting on the map and becoming more well known. And one of my good mentors, as I was telling him all the good things we're going to do for the school, he said, "You know, Ann, it's not about making SPIA great. It's about how SPIA can make Virginia Tech great and how Virginia Tech makes the community great and the state great." Yes. I thought, yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but it just hit me in a way that was, really got me thinking differently. And so as we're all sitting here in this room today, all business owners and academics and partners and leaders of the organizations here, a lot of times we're very focused on the success of our own organization. Yeah. But from your opening comments, this is a talent crisis. This is something that we've got to all be part of to make our economy go, to make our communities go. And so, you've talked about some of these ecosystem dimensions, but talk to us about what is needed to address this crisis in a big way. In addition to employers stepping up, give us kind of a big picture of what this ecosystem might look like in terms of how we tackle this problem going forward.
Yeah, very good question. I think there are three. There is the solution for the students, there's the solution for the providers, and then there's the solution for policy, right? So for the students, one of the things that I talk about, and I'm leaning forward so I can see you all on this side of the room too. One of the things that I tell students, and this comes as a surprise to many because I've been a college president, I've been a college dean, I'm teaching at Harvard now, but I say college is not for everybody, right? And it is for some, and it is really good for some, but it's not for everybody. So for students, they have to be better investors in their future. What is going to be best for you to be able to contribute to the workforce and to be able to get gainful employment? For some, it is going to college. For most, it is being able to get trained on skills. There's all kinds of skill badges, certification programs, vocational training There's a lot of work that needs to be done where people can spend less money and have less debt and get trained to have good employment. Some people should go to college and pay the tuition and have the debt or have somebody else pay for it. But there's a whole ecosystem of students out there, and so I advise them, look at what's best for you. And this gets to the equity issue. We don't have enough time to talk about this, but there are so many students in this country who believe in the American dream. And they believe that education is the pathway to that. So they mortgage their future on that. Their parents mortgage their house, they get 2 and 3 jobs, they spend everything they can, and then some, to be able to get an education, and then when they finish that education, often they can't get a job. And so is that worth it, right? It used to be that you could, but again, the shelf life of knowledge is changing so much, employers are not just hiring graduates willy-nilly from college. They're firing people that have the skills. So from an equity standpoint, we have to educate people who are particularly from lower economic environments that college is not for everybody, and that's okay. Skills is what you need, and being able to have that kind of gainful employment. The second piece is really around the providers. You know, I say it every day that I speak. I was just on NPR, and I talked about this. Universities need to adapt and change. You know, we cannot be stubborn, but on the other hand, it's a both and. It's not that universities have to change what we've been offering for decades and decades. We still need to offer that. Critical thinking skills, soft skills, analysis, you know, literature, math, all of that is still necessary, but we have to do both and. We have to continue to do that, and we have to provide skills through apprenticeships, you know, through internships, through real-world working experience, so that the employees, when they graduate, the students, when they graduate, they can get jobs and they have skills they can use right now. And they have to invite those students back while they're working so they can continue to get retrained, okay? And then the last one is around policy. So policy leaders, I told you at the onset, we used to spend a lot of money in this country on education. We would train people from the federal level, from the state level, from the county level, the city level. We would spend a lot of money on our schools, K to 99, and we don't spend that much money. So I'll give you an example. So when I was at Temple University a couple years ago, the state, it's a public school, the state would contribute 9% of the university's budget, okay? So 9% of the university's budget would come from the state. 25 years prior, 95% of the university's budget came from the state. Okay? Did you hear what I said? So what are the implications for a university when they are trying to charge less money because it's a public institution, keep the prices down so people can go to school, right? And the state gives you that money, and so then you can use whatever money you raise from fundraising, from tuition dollars, you can provide more support for your students, more access, more partnerships to provide training. When the state starts to take that money away, and you have to use all of your tuition dollars and all of your fundraising just to keep the lights on, then where do the extracurricular programs come from? How do you fund partnerships to get these students trained and apprenticeships and internships? So the policymakers have to reinvest in our education early on so that way the universities can be more innovative and have the partnerships like we do have here at the University of Shady Grove. So I think that, you know, since we're gonna do Q&A, I know, but the one thing I want to leave you with is that we are in a talent crisis right now. Some of you are business owners and you know this because you're trying to hire the right people and train the right people. Some of you are policy leaders and you have to make decisions about where to allocate resources. Some of you are students and you're trying to decide whether or not you want to spend one more tuition check or not and whether it's going to result in a job. Some of you are parents and you have to decide whether or not college is going to be the thing that you want to spend all your money on. These are all in the middle of this big talent crisis. We, for the last 2.5 years, have never been in a situation where the labor market is as competitive and the skills are changing as quickly as right now. I know you hear a lot about AI. I know you hear a lot about computer science and logistics, man. There's a lot of chatter out there. It's still about people, and it's still about people being able to get skilled and reskilled very quickly to be able to do the work. And we're not doing that. So you all as business leaders have to know this because you're going to want to be successful. It hasn't hit you yet. We talked about Google and we talked about Amazon, big companies, I know, Fortune 100. It's trickling its way down so that the smaller businesses that are at the state level and the county level are going to be hit by this probably in another 18 months. Skills are the #1 key. You have to decide whether or not you want to get on the bandwagon and invest in that in the right way or not, right? So I'll leave it to you.
Fantastic. Let's take one question from the audience. Does anybody have a question? in this room full of great, incredible thinkers? Anybody? Yeah.
There's a lot of talent. So thank you for that question. And if you all didn't hear her, she said her son just graduated from the University of Michigan. Is that what you said? And there's a lot of talent she feels like is out there. A lot of graduates, a lot of people who are out there. And you're right. There are a lot of college-educated and otherwise talent that's out there. The gap exists between those employers who are looking at people like your son and saying, wonderful, great kid, gradually went to college and majored in whatever, doesn't have what I need to be able to do the work that I need for my business and be able to stay competitive. For the most part, they are not finding the skills. It's not the people, they're just being educated and being educated in the wrong way for what companies are needing right now. So that's where the talent crisis is coming from. Very good question.
All right, everyone, Dr. Jason Wingard. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Great, thank you.
While you're still eating and we're exiting the stage, if I could just say one more thing. The Potomac Community Foundation, which we just started a couple of months ago, is based here in Montgomery County. And if I could ask Crystal and Paul to stand up. Crystal is our executive director, and Paul is our chief advancement officer. If you want to learn anything about the Potomac Community Foundation, go online, see me or see Crystal or Paul. But it is critical to the discussion that we're having today as well, because here in Montgomery County, there are populations of people who do not have access to education, they do not have resources, so we are bringing people together, coalitions, to help educate the people who are not. We are bringing businesses together to help with workforce development and economic advancement, and we are preserving the legacy of underserved communities, particularly Black and brown communities here in this county. And so if you want to get involved, if you want to give money, if you want to help us out in any way, please let us know. But those kinds of coalitions, support us or start your own. That's what we need here in Montgomery County. But thank you again, all. Appreciate it.
Thank you both for your wonderful presentation. Very much appreciated. I also do want to acknowledge, by the way, Montgomery County State's Attorney John McCarthy is here. Yay, yay, yay. There he is, my old-time friend. Aren't you glad I don't bug you for sound bites anymore? Yes. Thank you for being here. It is now my pleasure to present the newest inductees to the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame. We have a lot of folks being honored this afternoon, so I will try to keep my introductions brief. We begin with Marguerite Chin, co-owner, Negril Restaurants. Marguerite was born in Kingston, Jamaica. She attended high school in Jamaica before pursuing university studies in Ontario, Canada. Her journey with Negril Restaurants has been rooted in purpose, driven by passion, and shaped by a deep love for culture and community. Her career started in Brooklyn, New York, where she worked for Tower Isles, which is recognized as the very first USDA-certified factory producing Jamaican beef patties in the U.S. After a brief return to Jamaica, Marguerite made her way to Washington, where she joined her brother Earl in launching Negril Eatery in the vibrant Adams Morgan neighborhood. More than 4 decades later, the Negril adventure continues with Marguerite, her brother, and their extended family managing the 4 Negril Eats locations in the nation's capital and here in Montgomery County. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Marguerite Chen.
Everybody has a paper, so. Okay, good morning. It is with pride and indeed an honor to be inducted in the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame, along with my brother Earl, the founder, my brother Paul, the mechanical engineer, who fixes just about anything, and my 2 nephews, Brian and Kevin, with their loyal team. It's been 46 years since Negril's inception, and for 40 of those years, we have had and continue to have a strong presence in Montgomery County. From this journey, I have a few takeaways I would like to share. You have to be passionate and like what you do. Always be respectful and keep the lines of communication open. You have to be consistent and be willing to accept constructive criticism. The operative word here is constructive. And you have to be present. Lazy does not come into this. That word does not present itself. In closing, I'll share one of my favorite Jamaican sayings, and that is, in true Jamaican, 2 hands clap, 1 hand can't clap. And that means, it translates, we could not have done this without your support. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I neglected to mention one really important thing in the thank you department to all of you that are here. This year, thanks to all your efforts, we have raised nearly $200,000 for the scholarship funds. Give yourself some applause.
But I assume you'll take more, right? If somebody wants to donate more? QR code, yes. Okay. I also want to acknowledge, by the way, Senator Ben Cramer is here, next to John McCarthy, which is apparently the Bermuda Triangle of this room this morning. I'm sorry. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Our next inductee this afternoon is Seth Goldman, co-founder of Just Iced Tea. As many of you know, Seth Goldman was a veteran of the food and drink industry, executive chairman at Beyond Meat, co-founder of Plant Burger, a plant-based quick-serve restaurant, owner of 3 Mission Guardians for Tony's Chocolonely, an international chocolate company committed to creating an exploitation-free supply chain. And of course, in 1998, he founded the beverage company Honest Tea, which I always thought was such a great, smart name. Honest Tea was bought by Coca-Cola in 2011 and then discontinued in 2022. So Seth started a new value-centered, organic, fair trade bottled tea brand, Just Iced Tea, or as it is sometimes called, Justice Tea. Last year, Just Iced Tea surpassed $20 million in sales. A graduate of Harvard College and the Yale School of Management, Seth has been widely recognized for his entrepreneurial success, including induction in the Washington, D.C. Business Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Seth Goldman. Seth, our Hall of Fame is better, just so you know.
Thank you very much. I first want to give at least half of this word to my wife, Julie Farkas, who has been responsible for all of the success and very few of the failures. So I'm having her with me on this journey has made it all worthwhile. You know, in 1998, when I was launching this Honest Tea with 5 thermoses and an empty Snapple bottle, one of these smart investors came to me and said, you know, you got this good idea, but you've got a label that says Bethesda, Maryland. You know, you should say it's up in Vermont or New Hampshire. I said, well, number one, that's not honest, so that doesn't make sense. But I also thought, you know, this is a place where a conscious brand should emerge from. We love this place. This is where we've lived for 30 years, where our sons were raised and educated. And it is not just beautiful natural surroundings. It's a place where Rachel Carson wrote Silent Spring. It's a place where so many conscious government and nonprofit leaders live and think. And so it's the perfect place to launch a brand, which is the world's 2nd most popular beverage, tea. And sourced from some of the poorest countries in the world, we have an automatic opportunity to invest back into these communities, to create new hope and new opportunity for these communities, and still make a product that can be delicious and affordable. And Just Iced Tea, Justice Tea, is actually just launched a product to launched a campaign to build a health clinic in Mozambique, where we source most of our tea. Thank you. And it is going to happen. We're already looking to cut the ribbon in February. So I'm deeply honored to be here. This is especially when you can connect your home community and mean something to it. It's just a real honor. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Our next inductee is Craig A. Rupert, president of Rupert Companies. Rupert Companies include Rupert Landscape, a leading provider of commercial landscaping, Rupert Nurseries, a wholesale tree growing operation, and Rupert Properties, a privately held real estate investment company. Craig's leadership and insight also serve business and community organizations. He's currently on the board of directors of the Willis Group. Past board service includes Sandy Spring Bank and the Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond, and he is active with community groups like Food for the Poor and the Community Foundation of Montgomery County. Craig and his family also perform philanthropic work through the Rupert Family Foundation, which supports charitable organizations advancing education and combating childhood illness and poverty. Craig's contributions have been recognized with numerous honors, including Montgomery County Philanthropist of the Year, Catholic Business Person of the Year, and induction into the Washington, D.C. Business Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Craig A. Rupert.
Good afternoon. I'm thrilled to be here. There's a lot to enjoy, especially seeing many faces I recognize, friends, and new faces too. Congratulations to Margaret and Seth and Brent and George and Dottie, who will be accepting on behalf of Jack here. And thank you to the Grossberg Company and Eagle Bank for sponsoring. Special thanks to the University of Shady Grove and Cadamian for your leadership. And thanks for the Rupert Group here, my family and key employees here. Thank you guys for coming. I'll just say a couple things. I'm glad the topic was people. Like, people is our number one company value. Most companies say that. It's easy to say. It's hard to deliver on. But it means to do your best, to listen to your people, treat them fairly, help them reach their potential, help them get promoted, help them earn more. That's what all of us want. And that's the business we're in. We cut grass and we plant trees, but the real key part of our business is developing our people. And so I'm glad that was the topic. We have 4 values. People is the first, customers is the second, take ownership is the third, and the fourth is community. And I'll just close with community. I was fortunate to grow up here. Our business is here. We started, my brother and I, in the backyard cutting grass in the neighborhood. And today because of the excellent team that I'm surrounded by, have 3,000 employees. And I'm glad to represent Amazon and not Google here. We're not building any data centers in Montgomery County. But just to close, this community has been great to us. We're fortunate to be here. It's our obligation to share with the community. I'm honored to accept this on behalf of the Rupert team. They're the ones who allow me to get the credit for what the company does. So I'm happy to represent them, and I'm honored to be part of this group, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, we now come to a first for the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame, a 4-person induction featuring the people behind Cava. I think you've probably heard of that, right? The Mediterranean fast casual restaurant chain with locations across the U.S. Ike, Dimitri, and Ted, I'm not going to butcher your last names. With a name like Malay, I get it. I'm not going to do that to you. I have to tell you a quick story, though, before I really introduce them. I met them yesterday at a golf tournament at Lakewood for Mary Center, and one of the people at Mary Center said, Melissa, you know, this is Ted. And I thought she said, this is Ted Akava, and I was like, oh, hi, Ted Akava, nice, you know, Melissa Malay. And then I looked and he had Kava, and I was like, oh, Ted from Kava, got it. And my 2 little girls were with me, and they're obsessed with Kava, so that was a trickle down and cost me $43 last night. So thank you so much for dinner last night. The trio are first-generation Greek Americans who have known each other since they were 6 years old. In 2006, not far from here, they opened their first venture, a Greek restaurant, Kava Meze. Ted worked as the server and bartender. Dimitri ran the kitchen. Ike handled the accounting. As word spread about the restaurant's food and hospitality, of course, the business grew. So they brought in former finance executive Brett Schulman as CEO. Under his leadership, the 4 co-founded the fast casual chain Cava, with the first Cava restaurant opening in Bethesda in January of 2011. Today, Cava is the leading Mediterranean culinary brand. It has been recognized by QSR Magazine as one of the top 25 best brands to work for, and Fast Company as one of their 50 most innovative companies. Ladies and gentlemen, representing all 4 co-founders of Cava, please join me in welcoming Brett Schulman.
And thank you, Melissa, for driving our comp sales last night at the restaurants. You know, first I want to thank the sponsors and thank the Chamber for this incredible recognition. I also want to congratulate the other inductees. You know, as 4 kids who are products of Montgomery County high schools, this is especially rewarding. My journey started 40 years ago this past summer in 1985 when I grew up in a different Montgomery County up until then, outside of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. And my parents picked us up and moved us down to this Montgomery County, which has truly become my adopted home. And I can still remember driving out Darnestown Road, and there was a lot of farmland out here, a BP station and a keg and cork, if you ever remember. And they were knocking it down. They built a Burger King, and today we have electric cars and a KFC. So we've come really far, a long way. But it is, if you've run restaurants, you know it takes a village. And it takes the support of this community, who has been incredibly supportive to us. It takes the incredible support and counsel of our incredible wives who have been through this journey with us and who have been sanity checks and counsel for us. And it also takes the support of our family. You know, our parents, all of us, have been incredibly supportive. And, you know, for me in particular, my father passed away earlier this year. And today would have been his 75th birthday. And he was always motivating me. He was counseling me. He modeled his work ethic for me. And he was always our biggest cheerleader at Cava. So I know he's looking down today, super proud that we're being recognized for this on his birthday. So thanks, everyone.
Yeah, come on up for a photo. And happy birthday to Bruce. His dad's name was Bruce. Congratulations again, guys. Our next inductee is George R. Snowden Jr., owner of Snowden Funeral Home, a Rockville institution. Snowden Funeral Home, an African-American family-owned business, has been a presence on North Washington Street since 1926, after moving from Howard County, where it was founded in 1909. George R. Snowden Jr. is the 4th-generation owner and operator. The funeral home has weathered many historical events: the Great Depression of the 1930s, discrimination of the 1940s and 50s, the riots in the 1960s, and revitalization of Rockville, and more. Today, the reach of Snowden Funeral Home includes neighboring counties as well as Washington, D.C. Through the years, the Snowden family has done much to support the community. Snowden Funeral Home supports youth sport teams in Rockville, donates to numerous county scholarship funds, and sponsors a back-to-school Believe to Succeed backpack campaign, helping youth start the school year off with needed school supplies. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming George R. Snowden, Jr.
Thank you, Melissa, for taking my main part of my speech, but that's fine. I am deeply honored and humbled this afternoon to represent the fourth generation of my family business. I give all honor to God, who in his grace has granted me the strength to carry towards my family legacy. Being inducted into the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame is not just a milestone, but a tribute to the generations before me. Like she mentioned, I'm the fourth generation. This business started with my great-granddad in Howard County in a farmhouse, and he migrated to Rockville to get closer to the county seat. And we can only imagine what he went through and the challenges he went through to pull through, and we're still standing, like she said, at 246 North Washington Street, Rockville, Maryland. We've also endured the challenges, like Melissa said, the major epidemics, including the Spanish flu, polio, H1N1, HIV and AIDS, Ebola, and COVID-19. In recent decades, the devastating impact of drug epidemics has touched our community deeply, from the prescription opioid crisis and heroin epidemic to the ongoing synthetic opioid crisis, which continues to claim lives and leaves families grieving. All of these historical and present events reshape how we care for families in times of loss. Through it all, our mission has remained steadfast to honor life and serve with compassion. The death care industry is a profession rooted in compassion, dignity, and service. As death care professionals, we are entrusted with one of life's most sacred responsibilities, and that is helping the families that we serve honor their loved ones and find comfort in moments of loss. It is a calling that demands empathy, integrity, and unwavering dedication. I've been privileged to carry forward a tradition that began with my great-grandfather, as I mentioned, and I am proud to continue their legacy with the same commitment to excellence. In closing, I am reminded of a quote: "What you do has far greater impact than what you say." As we celebrate achievements, let us invest in the future. I encourage everyone here to reach out to your sphere of impact and support of the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame Scholarship Fund that helps nurture the next generation of leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers. These programs are more than financial aid. They are bridges to opportunity, tools of empowerment, and seeds of transformation. And I also like to introduce the fifth generation that's sitting at my table. That's my son, George R. Snowden III, and my daughter, Taylor Bryn Snowden. Thank you so much. Before I leave the podium, I'd just like to thank you, Melissa. I watch you every day, News Channel 4. Thank you. I finally get to meet you. Thank you.
I'm sorry I took your speech. Blame Tom. He wrote this lovely script for me. Congratulations. Okay, now we come to our final inductee this afternoon, a special posthumous induction to the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame to honor Jack Fitzgerald, founder of Fitzgerald Auto Malls. Jack Fitzgerald was a transformative figure in the automotive retail industry. He built one of the most respected dealership networks in the country and refined what it meant to be a customer advocate in the auto business. In 1966, Jack made a big bet on himself and purchased a stake in Dodge dealership in Bethesda. Today, Fitzgerald Auto Malls includes 20 franchises across Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Florida, employing more than 1,800 people. But that's just part of the story. Jack Fitzgerald embodied the ideal of doing well while also doing good. Long before it was industry norm, he introduced a no-haggle, no-hassle pricing model that gave customers a fair upfront deal. You probably remember the commercials, right? I remember them. The Fitzgerald Child Safety Seat Program, launched in partnership with the Montgomery County government, has conducted more than 50,000 child safety seat inspections and installations. Imagine how many people that has helped and lives that has saved. And in 2023, Fitzgerald Auto Malls became the largest dealership group in the nation to transition to 100% employee ownership. Wow. Jack Fitzgerald passed away on April 8th, 2025, leaving behind a legacy that changed the automotive industry. His vision wasn't just about selling cars, it was about doing right by people, empowering employees, and earning the trust of every customer. Ladies and gentlemen, representing Jack Fitzgerald, please join me in welcoming Rob Smith, president of Fitzgerald Auto Malls. He has been with the company for 35 years. She said, pretend she's a man. Named Rob. Got it. And cute. All right, come on up. We'll take you.
Let me just jump in and tell you, this is Dottie Fitzgerald, Jack's sister, and a past inductee into the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame. Welcome, Dottie.
One correction, I am Jack's dramatically younger sister. And I have all these notes for you, but I have to say, Mr. Rupert, I was there when you won the Catholic Business Network Award, and you sounded like my brother when you spoke, always giving credit to your folks and not taking any for yourself. Mr. Kava Group, Table 8 is supporting your Rockville location. Ms. Shin, we're going to work on you. And who else? Oh, we love your tea, Mr. Honest. And there was somebody else on. Well, Mr. Snowden, I can't say that I look forward to working with you. But I can tell you that we had a dear, dear friend who was Jack's assistant for many years, and your folks did a wonderful job on her exit. And everybody was very nice to us that came to visit too, but maybe somewhere down the 5th generation we'll talk. I was just going to say congratulations to everybody, but I didn't know I had so much in common with everybody. I've been fortunate enough to attend a lot of these wonderful events, especially this one. I love this event. And I've learned that the closer you get to the end of the speaking, they want you to move it along. So first I want to thank the Hall of Fame board for their kindness in honoring our fearless leader, Jack. Jack was a very humble man, and if he were here today, he would say thank you to you, but quickly state that he didn't do it alone, and that he was grateful to all of our associates and our customers over the years. Jack was guided by principles of faith, in and gratitude to God, hope in challenging times, and charity at all times. and a work ethic that was exemplified by our parents. He loved what he did, and he was able to work every day right up to the afternoon he entered Suburban Hospital and then into Montgomery Hospice, which is a wonderful organization. He passed on April 8th, and he would have celebrated his 90th birthday on September 27th. So all in all, I think he would tell you there was just no better way to go. Thank you.
Tom, she should do this next year. She's way better than I am. She's hysterical. Raise your hand if you bought a Fitzgerald car at some point in your life. My first car I bought from Jack Fitzgerald. Let me once again offer my congratulations to the newest inductees to the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame. With our final speaker this afternoon, we'll have the opportunity to hear directly from a student who's benefited as a recipient of the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame Scholarship. As mentioned earlier, when the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame held its inaugural event in 2012, it was announced that all net proceeds of the annual event would go to the scholarship programs right here at USG. Since that day, the event has raised more than $1.8 million in scholarships here at USG. And that is unrestricted funds, very important part there, that can go to students who need it most. To date, more than 2,500 students have received the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame scholarship. It is an amazing place here. 9 University System of Maryland campuses together under one roof, offering more than 80 high-demand degree programs, all here in Maryland's largest, most economically vital jurisdiction. Giovanni Gonzalez Trejo is a 2019 graduate of the University of Maryland Robert H. Smith School of Business at USG. He is currently a consulting delivery specialist with Accenture. He's the first member of his family to earn a college degree and credits his scholarship assistance as crucial. Please join me in welcoming Giovanni as he shares his journey and his insights.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Giovanni Gonzalez. I'm a proud graduate of the University of Shady Grove and the University of Maryland. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story with you today. First, I want to take a moment to congratulate this year's inductees and say what an honor it is to be standing in front of such a distinguished group of leaders who have contributed to the success of Montgomery County as a whole. As a former student, I stand here today because of your vision and your generosity. And through your support, I was able to graduate from the University of Shady Grove, where I earned my accounting degree, with one less stress about how I was going to pay for the next semester. The year was 2019, and that support made all the difference in the world for me and my family. Without that scholarship, I wouldn't be able to focus the way I did. It allowed me to fully dedicate myself to my studies, and it gave me the chance to breathe, to grow, and to believe that I belong. It gave me something priceless, peace of mind. Because of that opportunity, I was able to give back. I served as president of the Accounting and Business Association, where I helped launch a mentorship program for transfer students called the Mentorps. The goal was to help community college students adjust, get caught up, and feel confident stepping into a four-year university environment. Many of whom look and share a story just like me, a first-generation Latino American college student. It wasn't easy. You know, you're figuring things out as you go, how to apply to school, how to get financial aid, and what to do once you finally get there. You know, there's no manual for success. You have to build the path yourself. But what made the The biggest difference was knowing there were people beyond my family cheering for me, people like you in this room, here today. That encouragement fueled me, and it led me to incredible opportunities, working as a summer associate at Ernst & Young, joining Deloitte's consulting practice, and later on continuing my career at Accenture. And through every step, I carried that same mindset of giving back, mentoring students, helping them navigate school and life after graduation, just like others helped me. But my greatest pride doesn't come from titles or companies. It comes from working alongside my father in our family business, Evergreen Seasons. Because that small landscaping business put food on our table, paid for our school supplies, and taught me what really hard work means. Since I was a kid, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, just watching my father's grit and determination. I used to sell chocolate-covered bananas to the neighbors or wash cars in the summer because I wanted to help and because I saw how hard my dad worked for our family. Now that same business is my passion. And it's my turn to grow it and take my father's bill and push it towards its full potential. But there's more to the story, parts that very few know. In high school, I was a 2.0 GPA student who didn't really believe in himself, a kid who had no idea what came next. And on top of that, I had serious heart issues. I experienced fainting spells that doctors couldn't explain. And at 18 years old, I had a pacemaker put in to regulate my heartbeat. At that time, I felt like life was against me, but now I see it differently. Those challenges shaped me, and they gave me the strength and the perspective. They reminded me that life is too precious to take for granted. And truthfully, I see those struggles as a blessing in disguise, because they pushed me to grow, to work hard, and to never lose faith. I wouldn't be standing here today if it weren't for them. So my purpose now is to give that same hope to others, to help those who feel lost, who should just need someone to believe in them, the way so many believed in me. And there's a saying that I hold so close to me that says, God squeezes, but he never chokes. And to me, that means that life challenges may test you, but they're not meant to destroy you. And they're meant to shape you, refine you, prepare you for what's next. So for anyone who's struggling, remember you're not alone. You will come out stronger, wiser, and better than you were before. I promise you that. And lastly, I just want to say thank you to the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame for being such an important part of my journey. Your generosity didn't just change my path, it changed my life. And for that, I will always be grateful. Thank you.
It's getting a little dusty in here. That was fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, that does conclude our event. Once again, I congratulate all of the inductees into the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame. We want to thank all of our sponsors. We have the QR codes up here on the screens once again, but everybody who makes this wonderful event possible, and all of you for being here to make today such a success. I appreciate the opportunity for me to be here again and share in this special occasion. Now, in just a second, we're going to ask every Hall of Famer, past and present, to come up to the stage and arrange for a group photograph. And please meet the people that are here. I heard so many things about nonprofits. At my family's business, it's co-owned with another local family. We have a nonprofit night, and we give back to the community every month. So if you have a nonprofit, give me your card. I'm happy to hook you up, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, please mark your calendars. Next year's induction ceremony will be held Tuesday, October 20th, 2026. I encourage you to like and follow the Montgomery County Business Hall of Fame on Facebook, and want to remind you that parking is complimentary with validation available from one of the student ambassadors or event coordinator. Thank you. Have a great afternoon. Travel safe. And please do come up here for that photo. Thank you so much.